Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. The President of the United States, the Commander-in-Chief of America's Armed Forces, stands ready to dispatch the U.S. Armed Forces at the behest and direction of a foreign prince. He has, over the weekend, via Twitter, essentially pledged the entirety of American military might in the service of a man who he seems devoted to almost above any other world leader, in stiff competition with Vladimir Putin. The man, of course, is Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, known as MBS. In the wake of the news that two major Saudi oil facilities were attacked over the weekend, the Houthi rebels in Yemen have claimed responsibility. The U.S. and the Saudis say it was Iran behind it. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump basically announced on Twitter, "You tell us what to do, my Crown Prince, and we shall do it for you." Now, to be clear, the U.S. has had a close relationship with the Saudis for decades upon decades under Republicans and Democrats, but what has happened under this administration is on a whole other level. Let's just review for a second. The very first international trip that Donald Trump took as president was to Saudi Arabia, breaking with decades of precedent, in which the first trip is usually Canada or Mexico. And you remember on that trip, do you remember the orb and the sword dance? I mean, who else would Donald Trump be willing to do that with? President Trump has issued, in his entire time as president, he's issued 5 vetoes, and 4 of them have been to protect the Saudis. He has bumped up weapons sales to the Saudis. He has defended the Saudis as they have created the worst humanitarian crisis in the world in Yemen. United Nations says 10 million Yemenis are, quote, one step away from famine. Members of Trump's administration have defended them and praised and laughed and smiled with them after they hacked to death a columnist for an American newspaper. A murder the CIA says was personally ordered by the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. The two countries that Trump will bend over backwards for are Russia and Saudi Arabia. Why? Well, here's one obvious reason.
Saudi Arabia, and I get along great with all of them. They buy apartments from me. They spend $40 million, $50 million. Am I supposed to dislike them? I like them very much.
He told you. Right there. Back when he was running for president, he told you what it's about. They give lots and lots of money to Donald Trump's businesses. There it is. You know, thanks to some great reporting, we also know little snapshots about how Saudis have helped Trump's bottom line since he became president, like when they rolled into town and spent enough money at the Trump International Hotel in Manhattan to boost the hotel's revenue for the entire quarter, or the time a Saudi-funded lobbyist paid for 500 rooms at Trump's D.C. hotel. But those are just little snippets we've caught here thanks to reporting and whistleblowers. We don't know much else. It would be helpful to have the president's tax returns, which have been requested by the House of Representatives under U.S. law, but are being blocked by the White House and being fought in court. Today, another avenue was opened, with the Manhattan District Attorney demanding Trump's tax returns for the last 8 years. But what else is there? What are the financial arrangements with Jared Kushner, who is so close to the Crown Prince that when Kushner visited Saudi Arabia after MBS had just locked up dozens of political rivals, quote, the two princes are said to have stayed up until nearly 4 a.m. several nights, swapping stories and planning strategy. Today, the United States, our country, finds itself at the point where the president is threatening war, threatening to put American lives, the lives of American service members, American blood, American treasure, on the line for the guy who hacked Jamal Khashoggi to death, for a regime that spends lots of money at his hotels. Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.